What's that?
I'll be nice and wait this time.
For what? Oh, and instead of trying to cut off my coffee flow? Oh, look at you getting the ammo all ready. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to Monday. Come on in. You're part of this whole thing.
My glasses are still dark. So silly.
How do you fix it? Is like smudging on them, does that fix it? Oh, I really wanted to do that. I really wanted to just go.
If it was Vinny, he
would have done it himself. Yes.
If Vinny needs to push his glasses back up, he'll literally put his fingers right here and just push it up.
So gross.
Next time you see Vinny,
you can't see his eyes. It's like looking through a crystal, right? It's like the light goes everywhere.
Oh,
if you try to look through his glasses, it's like he's got like 3 eyeballs. It looks like because his glasses are so dirty. Paul, good morning. Uh-oh.
I'm not ready yet. I haven't even practiced.
It's been like a month.
There's a lot of practice involved for me.
Gordon, good morning.
Singing on a live show. I'm not ready. We have gotten.
Oh man, please make sure that happens on my day off.
I was gonna say, like, you want me to sing?
Not really. Not really. Welcome to Monday. A gorgeous day outside right now. It's a pretty awesome weekend. I hope you all had a fantastic weekend. It's got 4 lines. Yeah, I know. I had a great weekend. First day, I spent all day listening to her talk, but
we got a lot accomplished.
We did get a lot accomplished on Saturday. Yesterday, I went deer hunting with my twins, and one of my boys got his first deer, which was awesome. He was super excited about it. A little bit of tracking, and he did awesome at the tracking, and then wasn't so excited about the cleaning part, but he did good. It was really cool. Perfect shot, 55 yards away, and he was super stoked. So
that's really awesome.
It was awesome. One of my other boys, though, unfortunately, had one lined up in the sights and didn't properly load his rifle, so his gun went click, and then the deer walked away.
Learning moment.
Yep,
sure.
Definitely a moment that he will not forget, and he will probably not make that mistake again. And if he does, then
well, he didn't learn.
Then he takes after his mom, I guess. I don't know.
How rude.
Anyway, so what are we talking about today?
Police interaction. If you're a concealed carrier, that could be a little intimidating. Well, for both parties. So I think we should talk about it.
Okay, let's talk about that. I just want to breeze through inventory.
Okay.
Real quick.
Breeze
through, just so
cool
you guys
breeze.
can see that. A cool breeze. See what we got.
That's Eli's nickname at the gym.
Cool breeze.
It's because he says he doesn't sweat. And so my professor named him Cool Breeze. His other nickname is Eli the Eliminator.
So does he not sweat because he's not working hard, or does he just not sweat?
Well, I think that I'm just gonna
leave that alone.
He gave me an armbar though.
Recently. Did he?
Yes. I'm super proud of him. That's awesome. I've been working hard for that.
Man, I almost got somebody this morning at one. I had it set in my brain. That's what I was going to go for, and I almost got him, but I didn't. Anyway, let's take a look at guns. My eye's a little raspberry I got there on my eyeball is from jujitsu this morning. This is good. Let's see. Where's the button? There's the button. Shotguns. We have a good selection of shotguns up here, so if you're in the market for one, or you didn't realize you're in the market for one and now you need one, we've definitely got some stuff up here. Beretta 1301s, Mossberg 500s and 590s, 930 and 940 Pros. So, and then one bullpup DP12. Come on.
I haven't shot my shotgun in a while. Need to make that happen.
I agree. We said we were going to have a shotgun day. We need to go and shoot trap
Yes.
at Missouri Conservation Range.
Yeah. What the heck?
Yes, I've been shooting out there quite a bit lately, and I know some of the guys. Some of the guys come here and shoot and stuff. And I was talking with one of them about going out and shooting some trap and skeet. It would be pretty comical because I think a lot of us would be really bad at it. Yeah, I know I'm one of them.
I know I'm one of them.
So
I'm much better at trap.
Did I tell you that he said we can't use 18-inch guns? So we can't use our Berettas?
Yeah, but he said it in a different way, right? You can't use those.
You can't use one of them. How did he say it? One of them tactical guns, those short shotguns or something like that.
Do you have any bird guns?
I do have an 870. I don't know. It's got a 22-inch barrel or something on it, maybe 24-inch barrel. I don't know, something like that. But
let's do it.
Let's do it. We gotta do it. Jim, good morning from Denver. Man, I was watching. You guys sidetracked me. I was watching or not watching a video. A friend of mine just got back from a Jeep trip, an overlanding trip to Colorado, and I want to go so bad.
That'd be cool.
I've never spent much time in Colorado.
Oh God, it's amazing.
I know. I want to go to Colorado, Utah, and Arizona, or some places I'd love to go with my Jeep. Last week, Liz was all banged up. Now Phil looks wounded. We're having fun. That's what we're doing.
That's a true story.
So I went to, I got home late last night from deer hunting. By the time I got cleaned up, got everything put away. Listen, I'm old, okay? I go to bed at like 9:30. I get up at 4:30. Last night I'm going to bed at midnight. My wife is like, I'm packing up my bag for the gym this morning. She's like, are you going to the gym tomorrow? I'm like, yes. I need the aggression in the morning.
That's probably why I'm so spicy, because I haven't been to the gym.
Go.
Okay, done.
Go. Marlon, good morning.
Good morning.
Alan, good morning. Norway? Damn.
Norway.
That's awesome.
Is he's in Norway?
Yeah, he's in Norway right now.
Oh, yeah,
that's awesome. Dang it.
I would love to go to Norway. I've been to Iceland.
You know where we've been? Baldwin.
I mean, it sounds exotic if you think about it.
We do have some cool stuff here. Ryan, good morning.
You should just go on a drive around down 44 and pretend you're in another state. I guarantee you'll think that you're in another state. It feels like you're on vacation because 44 is beautiful.
No, you got to get off the highway.
I mean, that too, but just driving on 44, you can just, like, oh my gosh, I'm in the most beautiful state ever. And it just, sorry, I'm kind of nerdy. You
are.
I love nature.
Okay. Anyway, moving on. We have guns. We used up all of our gun time talking about Highway Farty Far. Jeff Alley, good morning. Farty Far. We have guns. If you need guns, come look at what we got. We have lots of them. To include one 44 mag lever gun up here.
Talk about the hunter special.
Oh, we do, yes. So, speaking of deer season, this is what it wasn't a CMMG, but he took his deer with a 308 SIG suppressed gun. He was so stoked.
Is there a lot of bruising on the rib cage? Did it destroy the...
No, it didn't destroy a ton of the meat.
Well, I can't know it was a good shot through the ribs, but...
Yeah, I can't think of what... It was a pretty nasty exit.
Yeah, that's... we experienced the same thing a couple of years ago with 308.
I can't think of which ammo he was using.
I'll get your coffee over.
I tested so many different rounds, I can't remember. All I remember was 168 grain. I don't remember if it was Federal, but
that's good.
It was a perfect hit. Oh, it's perfect hit. Go see some horses. That's right. All right, and we have handguns too. Shadow Systems, Springfield, Smith & Wesson, SIG. Sorry, guys, going through it fast today because we got lots to talk about. Beretta, FN, Canic, Glocks, Walther, Bursa, Ruger, Taurus, and Arex. I got to look at the used case real quick, and then we're moving on.
Almost every gun in this case is optics ready. That's fantastic.
We have a Glock 22, VP9, Walther PP. We have a couple of VP9s. We have a couple of HKs. We have a P30 in there, PPQ, CAR E9. I don't even know what that is. FN 509C, Glock 27, Ruger LC, couple LCPs, and a 238. So if 380 is your thing, we got you covered. One of them's even got range green grips on it. Sweet. That's a keeper. All right. Okay, let's go get to my perch, and we're gonna talk. We're gonna have a conversation. What were you saying about optics ready? What case?
It's like almost all the guns in the case are.
Yes, please.
Fantastic.
This is just certainly just my opinion, and it's not it's worth what you're paying for it right now, which is zero. If you're gonna buy a handgun, get one that's optics ready.
You don't have to mount it.
You don't have, you don't have to put an optic on it right now. But Ray, good morning. But you're probably, not definitively, but probably going to want one. All right, let's talk law enforcement interactions. Just go, hi.
No.
Oh, that's not how it works?
I can't do that.
Why?
It's just too ear piercing. It's just too much.
Okay, that's how you interact with cops, though. Who hit you in the face? I don't remember. Somebody at the jiu-jitsu gym this morning. Or my wife. I don't know. It's like, shut up!
Should get the other one tomorrow.
Yes.
Good
All
morning,
right, so, Mr. Miller, good morning. Law enforcement interaction. So we talk about this quite a bit. It always comes up in CCW class, like, hey, what happens if? And it's typically centered around getting pulled over, right? A traffic stop. But there's lots of ways you could interact with law enforcement. So first up, let's talk about the traffic stop, because that's probably the most common way a concealed carrier will have a legal interaction with a law enforcement officer.
Don't let me forget to talk about a hospital, because I had a recent interaction at the hospital. So I will.
You're
don't let me
asking
forget
me
that one.
to remind you.
Yes.
You're here to do that for me.
Wait a second.
Okay.
You remember why you hired me? I don't think that's not in my job description.
Can I tell a really quick story?
Yes.
Because this it has nothing to do with what we're talking about, but it just popped in my head. Me and my buddy Dan, who you met a couple times, we're leaving a hockey game one time, and we're just walking, and we're talking and having a good old time, and all of a sudden, he's like, where are we going? And I'm like, I don't know, I was following you. He's like, I was following you. We were literally walking in circles around Scott Trade Center. And,
that's hilarious.
yeah. Anyway, law enforcement interaction.
All right.
So let's talk traffic stop first, okay? Now, keep in mind, all situations are different. This is general guidance, considering you're living in Missouri, okay? Because different states have different laws and so on.
Absolutely.
So general guidance that I give to people is, okay, if you get pulled over, pull over, right? Start there. Pull over and do what you can to make the whole situation as comfortable for the cop as possible. If there's a ton of traffic and you're getting pulled over on Manchester Road, pull into a parking lot of, a gas station or Aldi's or whatever, just to get them out of traffic. Cop walks up to your car. As they're walking up to your car, don't be rifling through everything, trying to find your driver's license and your insurance and all that stuff. You will have time to do that, I promise. So just the classic 10 and 2, keep your hands visible. That's really what they want to see, is their hands. As long as it's not like pouring down rain or something, roll the window down. Remember, you know you're a good person. At least I hope that you out there watching this are good people. You know you're a good person. The cop doesn't. Okay? This is something that the cop does a bazillion times every month. They know that they have a high chance of getting hurt during it because it is something they do all the time. So they know they have an opportunity to become complacent. So understand that when they walk up to the car, they don't know you're a good person. Okay? So if you come at them with an attitude right away because you're late and they're making you later, or you're just got in a fight with your wife or your husband or whatever, you need to let that stuff go and just let them know that you're going to be calm. Okay? Yes, I can see the words that want to come out of your face.
Thanks. I didn't have to interrupt. I say this in my class. It's like, anytime they pull you over, it's not to give you a high five for stopping all the way at that stop sign. So anytime cops pull people over, it's because there's conflict initially, right there, immediately. So just like what he says, it's like they don't know what to expect, but it's already a conflict.
Yes.
Already. So it's already a negative sort of situation. So just...
I like what Andy says there. He says, give them what you want.
The golden rule.
Given back to you, which is true. Okay, so start there. I like to tell people that, hey, when you get pulled over, well, first off, let me clarify something. In the state of Missouri, you have no duty to notify. You don't have to tell law enforcement you have a gun on you, right?
What if they ask?
If they ask, you have to.
Yeah.
Okay. If they ask, you have to. Most of them are going to ask if you don't volunteer the information anyway. They're going to say, hey, sir, ma'am, do you know why I pulled you over? Don't say I was doing 92 in a 25 or something, but no, sir, I have no idea. Well, you were going a little fast back there. Hey, before we get started, is there anything in the car that can hurt me? You got to be truthful, okay? So I like to volunteer the information if at all possible, if I'm given the opportunity. When they ask why I pulled you over, I say, no, sir, I don't. But hey, before we get started, I just want to let you know I have a valid Missouri concealed carry permit. I currently have a firearm on me. What do you want me to do next? Say, cool, dude. You know, this is, I don't know what they're going to say. Cool, dude, where is it? It's on, don't raise your shirt. It's right here. Okay? It's on my person about the 1 o'clock position. My hands are on the steering wheel, too, by the way. Right? Or just plainly visible. The gun's on, or the firearm's on me about the 1 o'clock position. What do you want me to do? Cool, man, don't go for yours, I don't go for mine. Everybody goes home and has a good day. But I do need to see your driver's license, your registration, insurance, all that stuff. Hey, my driver's license is in my front pocket. What do you want me to do? Right? You're doing as much as you can to let that officer know that I don't want escalation of conflict. I want them to feel safe. So what do you want me to do? What may happen? Can they disarm you? No. Unless you're suspected of a crime. Guess what speeding is? It's a crime. So yes, they can disarm you.
Interesting. I hadn't thought about it like that.
Yeah, they can't just say, you can't, if you're a cop and we're talking, and they're like, hey, do you have a gun on you?
Yeah.
And you're like, sure I do. Okay, I don't know why that would come up in conversation that way, but like, hey, I need to see it. No, not unless you're suspected of a crime. Okay?
Speeding's a crime, or busting a U-turn. Yeah.
So, now, let's just say they ask you to get out of the car and they do want to take the gun off you. Or they don't have you get out of the car, whatever the case may be. They want your gun. Okay? Hey, give me that gun, bud. I'm not just going to, okay, here you go, officer, no problem. If they want me out of the car and they want to take the gun off, I'm going to ask them, hey, sir, ma'am, please, if you don't mind, it's just clipped on my belt, pull the whole holster off.
Why?
Pull the whole holster up. Because then my trigger is protected. Okay? So if this comes off of me, the gun don't go back. Okay?
And cops are humans too.
Cops are humans. Not all cops are gun guys. I'll tell you what, there's plenty of gun guys that I don't necessarily want taking a hot gun off of me while it's pointed at my crotch or my femoral artery.
I would feel nervous about anybody taking a loaded gun off me.
Yes. So I'm going to ask. Doesn't mean it's going to happen.
Yeah.
I am going to ask, hey, if you don't mind, please just take the whole holster. You know, whether they get you out of the car, they have you sitting in the car, whatever the case may be, take the whole holster, please. My hope is that's going to happen. That has never happened to me. However,
I've been disarmed twice. Oh, little old me.
Yeah.
I don't remember the first story well enough to really tell you, other than I got pulled over at my old place where I had expired tags, and they pulled me over, and I ended up in the parking lot of the shooting range that I used to work at. Had my shirt on and everything like that, and the cop was new. He told me this, but he just wanted to take the gun off of me, just because he was new. He didn't know it just made him more comfortable. So he was a really nice guy, and I was nice about it too, and everything. We were kind of laughing about it, but he took my gun off and he took it back to his car while he, ran my license and all that stuff, and, came back and gave it back to me unloaded. No big deal. I mean, it was a little nerve-wracking. It doesn't feel good to be disarmed, especially by someone who, you could be potentially in trouble with or whatever. It just is a different type of interaction. It's like, hey, you're taking this tool off of me that can be very dangerous. So the whole thing is just an interesting situation. So fast forward to, this was a few months ago. I was driving to work and I realized I didn't have my phone on me. I decided to do a U-turn. Now, there is no sign. I have looked since. Regardless, I did a U-turn and I get pulled over. I have, boop, boop, yep. Thank you. I almost forgot my sound effects. I had Benny, my 4-year-old, in the car too. He was in the back right behind me. And cop pulls me over. I pull over right away and I turn off the car and put it in park. If they see your brake lights on, that doesn't give them a good feeling that you're going to stay there. So put it in park, turn your car off, turn your radio down, open your window, all that stuff. I put my hands exactly, I put them at 10 and 2, and just waited for them to come up. So she comes up to my window and she said, hey, you did a U-turn, blah, 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 whatever, okay. And I let her know that I'm a concealed carry holder. I do have my firearm at my appendix position, and my license is in my bag over here on my passenger seat. And I said, do you want me to go ahead and get that out for you now? And she said, yes, just move slowly. And I said, okay. So I carefully, with both my hands, reached my bag. I pulled it into my lap so she could see everything that I was doing. And I just very carefully got out my license and just handed it to her. And then she's like, what about your insurance? I'm like, that's on my phone, which is why I did the U-turn initially. So I didn't have my insurance. She already knew I had a gun. She just kind of ignored me saying that and didn't say anything. Now she wanted to take my gun. She's like, okay, I'd like to go ahead and take your gun from you now. I said, okay, if you don't mind, please take the whole holster. She didn't say anything. So I leaned back, I let her pick up my shirt and everything, and she reached into the car and she was not grabbing for the holster. She was grabbing for my grip, and it was exactly pointed at my femoral artery. Exactly. And I said, ma'am. And she went to grab the holster. All I had to say was ma'am, and she grabbed my holster. It was a very interesting situation because I didn't want to tell her to do it in a certain way, but I was very nervous about her grabbing my gun out of my holster in the position that I was in. So she did. She grabbed the whole holster. I was carrying Glock 34. The look on her face was priceless. So she grabbed the holster and she walked back to her car. She was back there for a few minutes, and then she came back and she handed my gun, and it was unloaded, and my magazine, my extra round, and everything. And she let me go with a warning and yada yada. And I put my gun back on, but she was not super nice. It was definitely more of a nerve-wracking situation than the last one was, or any time I've been pulled over. Really, I always try to joke with the cops and try to lighten the situation, and she wasn't having it. So, but anyway, that's how my situation went, and just to be very, very respectful and know that there is, they got a lot on their mind. So Jim says, I disagree. You are not required to answer questions. If a police officer asks me if there's anything in my car that could hurt them, I say, I'm sure there is, but I have no desire to hurt you. It ends there. If you want to claim that you are required to answer the question, I would like to see the statute or case law supporting it.
So here's the thing, is that you don't have to answer anything.
Anything, yeah.
Anything.
Your Fifth Amendment right.
Yeah. So if you've committed a crime, though, you're going to get arrested, right? So it's weighing. I mean, I shouldn't say you're going to get arrested. You're speeding, right?
Sure.
However, if all of a sudden now that tool, the firearm in this case, becomes an issue because you're reaching for your driver's license and your gun prints that situation could escalate very quickly and unnecessarily, in my opinion, right? There's plenty of people that are going to say, hey, I'm not telling a cop, don't care, I'm not telling them I have a gun on me. That's fine, do it. This is simply just my recommendation on what I would do in a situation if everything went perfect. Okay, we had a guy who used to work here at Katy that he was in law enforcement for a while, and his thing was to your point of throwing it in park so they know you're not going anywhere. He would take his keys out of his car and throw them on the hood, or on the not on the hood, but on the roof.
Yeah.
Right. That's a sign of
respect.
I'm just let's get this figured out and both go on about our day. This isn't about getting into a pissing match with somebody over, I don't have to answer that, I don't have to do that, I'm not doing what you want because you want me to. It's also not getting trampled on.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
yeah. And
don't take my words as saying that I'm just going to let somebody trample all over my rights. There's a give and take in a given situation. This isn't absolute one way or the other.
Yeah, choose your battles,
yes,
for sure, and be compassionate and understanding for other people's situation, especially, like I said, an officer that's pulling you over. It's an immediate conflict, and yes, and also we want to be clear here that whether you're in law enforcement or you're just your average civilian that carries a gun every day or not, everybody has a tendency to do bad things, and just like you could get a bad cop. You could get a cop that is on an ego trip. You can get a cop that is super nice. It's just, that's not up to you. But what is up to you is how you react to them and your reaction to their attitude. If they're giving you attitude and you just don't play along and you're just respectful, that's going to be much easier for you to come out on top on. If it ends up going to court for whatever reason, if you can be that respectful person that's absolutely on their body cam and everything, and it shows later that they're the asshole, they just let that happen in court. Your arguments on the side of the road aren't going to get you anywhere.
Nowhere.
Even if you don't agree with what happened, why you got pulled over, why they disarmed you, maybe they even took your gun from you. Let's theoretically play that out. Let's say you go over to Illinois. Now, I just want to be very clear here. I don't know Illinois' statutes like I know Missouri's statutes. I do know, however, that with a Missouri concealed carry permit, you can now drive through. You have a valid Missouri concealed carry permit on you.
You have a valid concealed carry permit. It doesn't have to be Missouri.
Yes, I only know. I'm only saying Missouri because I know that to be true. I don't know about other states, but you go into Illinois. You're driving through. You're passing through. You can now keep your gun loaded on your person, capable for use of self-defense if absolutely necessary. You cannot get out of the car with it, though. Okay, so let's say I'm going to Sparta for a match, and I get pulled over, and I have my gun on me, and the cop ask me that question, I'd probably honestly tell him right away, and he's like, well, you're not an Illinois resident, you can't have that here. A lot of people want to go to cops for CCW advice in general. That's not a good idea. And I understand. They're cops. They have their own use of force policy to understand. Us as civilians is entirely different. There's a lot of rules and laws that surround concealed carry. You can't expect them to know all that, which is precisely my point on why you don't get into arguments about anything, regardless of your concealed carry status, on the side of the road, because maybe they just don't know. An argument on the side of the road is not going to get you out of a ticket, especially if you just understand human nature in general. Egos get involved in just that initial, authority figures issue. So it's just important to recognize that is a natural human behavior, and to do your best to avoid it is going to end better for you in the long run. Fight that battle in court, not on the side of the road.
Gordon, I'm going to disagree with you because the statute doesn't say anything about being able to get out of your car, period.
Yeah,
it just says while you're in your vehicle. So I would not test that.
It actually specifically says that if you get out of your vehicle, the gun must remain locked in the vehicle. So
and it's weird how they word it. They say in a locked container or a locked vehicle is where the firearm has to be. But
you can't expect them to know all those laws.
Yeah, and the same goes with lawyers, right? Like that's why lawyers specialize in a section of law, because it's complicated. So cops can't know every fine little detail. Now, maybe if they're a gun guy, maybe they are a cop that teaches CCW class, so they know this stuff already. Maybe they're a cop and they don't like concealed carriers, right? I think that's fewer and further between, but that definitely happens as well.
Sure.
They might give you a hard time about it just because they feel like they can. Like Liz said, if you can be respectful, and let's just say that they're 100% in the wrong, and you get a ticket or you get arrested, and they take your gun and they process it to make sure it's never been used in a crime, and that takes 6 months or a year or forever. Mm-hmm. If whatever you're involved in goes to court and it can be shown that you were calm, cool, collected, that's going to go a long way to help you. And this is assuming you're right. Okay? This is assuming that you're right. This is going to go a long way to help your case. If you're wrong, you're wrong. It doesn't matter how calm you are. You're still wrong. But if you start amping up your energy level, and their energy level starts going up, and that's not a good thing.
Yep.
Not a good thing. So and again, remember, we're talking about just
general.
Yeah, very general. Every situation is going to be a little bit different. Every place, every cop, every individual is going to be different. Non-fits, yo.
Gordon's Illinois rule: empty bladder, full gas tank. Don't stop till Indiana. Yeah,
Done.
Absolutely. Choose your battles.
I like it
for sure. That's just like, oh, I know I'm going to be driving home late later. I better fill up my gas tank beforehand while I'm in a good part of town. It's daylight or whatever. Or I need to stop at the ATM before I go out later tonight. Like, you don't do that when it's a bad time and a bad place and things like that. Just try to make those choices better. So.
Okay, what other kind of interactions can we have?
Ooh, what about after a use of force situation? What if there was no shooting involved in any case and it was just a display of a gun? Now, displaying a firearm is considered lethal force. Can be considered lethal force. So just displaying your gun in a defensive manner, just want to highlight there that is no, I just showed it.
Yeah, I just showed it.
That
it's
is
no big deal.
Absolutely a big deal. So
yes.
I don't want to discredit that at all. And again, just our
good morning.
Our disclaimer is we are not lawyers,
yes.
And this is not legal advice. But if you were to have a defensive display or use of a firearm, cops are going to first of all be the one to call the cops, even if
at all possible.
Yes, even if the gun was never fired, they drove away or whatever it was. Let's say someone road rages and gets out of their car and walks up and picks this big rock up off the ground and starts to go bash in your window. That would be me getting my gun out, and at least depending on the situation. If I could drive away, obviously that would be a better choice. But let's say that gun came out, that guy said, oh shit, and ran away, but my gun came out. I would 100% be on the phone with 911 as soon as I was able to safely. Because my gun was displayed, what if they called and say, this crazy lady was pointing a gun at me, and now they're the victim. And then they come find me and they're like, hey, this guy said you pointed a gun at him. And I'm like, yeah, I did, because he had a rock and he was about to bash in my windshield and blah, blah, blah. And he looks more like a victim than I do. Okay? So be the first one to call the cops. And if I got distracted.
Apparently.
So cops show up and they say, drop the gun. Let's say you have your gun pointed at somebody because they have a knife in their hands or whatever, and you're waiting for the cop to show up, and they say, drop the gun, drop the gun. Guess what you do? Drop the gun.
You're straight back here to the right.
Drop the gun. Guns are drop safe. So that's a wonderful time to just drop it. Squirrel moments. Yeah. Sorry. I'm 100% a squirrel. I have no idea what I just said for the past 30 seconds. Anyway, Cops show up. There's been a defensive use of force. They say, drop the gun, drop the gun. They're yelling at you, drop the gun. There's all kinds of auditory exclusion. There's chaos. There's all kinds of stuff. Just drop the gun. Don't try to slide it over to them in the movies or throw it at them or put it in the air. Just drop the gun.
Drop the freaking gun. Yes.
Okay? And then another aspect of, you know, once you're in a safe environment, you got handcuffs on, obviously, and then the cops are asking you, what happened, what happened, what happened? That's a time to say, officer, I will 100% cooperate, but I would like to speak with my attorney first.
I don't know.
Don't.
Yeah. I have no idea what that
I think it's important to articulate that you thought you were about to die. Like you were going to die, and this had to happen. But do not give details, state your compliance, and ask to speak to an attorney first.
I will 100% answer all your questions, but I really want a lawyer present. That's because there's going to be things. There is a potential for things for you to remember that did not happen, right? To have false memories, and you will swear up and down that this person attacked you and they were wearing a pink bunny suit when they did it. And the cop's looking at the dude who you said attacked you, and he's not wearing a pink bunny suit. Now you've just said factually this is what happened, and now you are a liar, right? So please talk to an attorney, let them run their mouth, pay them that money.
Why would someone potentially say that they're wearing a pink bunny suit? What could cause someone to say something so crazy like that?
Are you asking me? Mm-hmm. Stress.
And tunnel vision?
Yeah.
Maybe he had a little pink bunny on his hat, you know, it's a logo or something. Because we get so hyper-focused on things when we're under an immense amount of stress like that you could 100% say something as crazy as he was wearing a pink bunny suit. But you didn't realize how hyper-focused you were on that little logo that was of a pink bunny on his hat. There's a story from, I think it's Deadly Force Encounters. I can't find the book on Audible. I'm so mad, but I want to read this book. But there's a story in there that I've heard in a couple other books that I've read is about this officer that was in a use of force situation, and he remembers seeing, was it Federal? A beer can that said Federal on it. A beer can that said Federal. That was
in the middle of this fight.
In the middle of this fight, like guns drawn on this guy, and he remembers seeing a beer can go across his face that said Federal. That was his partner's brass crossing his line of sight, and he read Federal on the back of the casing. And that's how crazy tunnel vision can be.
Andy, good morning.
It's not like you only. It's like you're seeing through a paper towel roll, but it's not that other things aren't there. It's just you're hyper focused on something, and it's like it gives you supervision.
So Paul brings up the point of USCCA. So it's definitely an option. Like I said, you need lawyers to do the talking for you. I don't have lawyer money to pay for a good lawyer, so I have USCCA to be able to cover that sort of thing. So it's definitely an option, whether it's USCCA or another service. Just do some digging into whatever that is to make sure that you'll get what you think you're going to get when you need that legal fight. So you have in this context, you have the fight that you're in that you have to win, and then there's all sorts of fights that come after to include legal, which is just devastating, whether you're in the right or in the wrong. Obviously, we're assuming you're in the right. It's just devastating to you from a standpoint of finances, of just mental toll that whole thing can take on you. We mentioned it one of the last shows where we kind of got talking about this with some of the books from Asad Ayub. Read them, right, or listen to them, or whatever. Deadly Force Encounters. What was the one that we listened to?
I think that was the one we listened to. Yeah.
No, it wasn't.
Yes, it was.
Okay, maybe it was. I don't know. That's the one you just said you couldn't find.
No, I couldn't find. Oh, the one by Alexis Artwall. That's the one I was looking for. But I guess it wasn't.
Anyway, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
You need a lawyer.
Deadly Force.
Okay. What else we got? We got like a couple minutes.
There was something else I was going to say, but I can't remember. But
any other questions, comments, whatever, throw them up there, interactions that you've had, so forth.
I got one.
Please, go.
One of the things that Mossad brings up in his books after a use of force situation is to articulate if there's any evidence around. Pay attention to if there's casings or if the bad guy had a knife, and it's laying next to them or something.
His knife over there. Yeah.
Say, that's his knife. There's some casings over there. And look at that window that's broken over there. That person in the red shirt is a witness. Like, anything that you can bring up that to be evidence, do it at that time. You don't have to say, like, I did this because I saw that or anything like that. Just say, there's evidence, there's evidence, there's evidence, whatever you can. Because as paramedics show up, they're going to be kicking stuff around. Maybe the bad guy had an assailant that was hiding behind the bushes over there and they grabbed the knife real quick without you seeing, or obviously there's all kinds of...
Mossad calls the paramedics and the responding officers, I don't remember what he called them, something like evidence scattering technicians or something like that, right?
Yeah, it makes total sense.
Yes.
But, so just little things to think about there. And again, I heard this one in another book I was reading by Rory Miller, is that in between your moment, your encounter, and when you go to court, this could be years, right? This could be years before you have a trial. Really do not talk about your situation with everybody.
Oh, man.
Which is so incredibly hard because you need that, right? Like, you need to process that, and of course it's natural and helpful for humans to articulate and tell their story so that way they can relive it again, to go over all these details again. But you really got to be careful about anybody that you tell your story to, because then they're going to tell somebody, they're going to chop it all up and mix things up, or it's going to be on some surveillance video somewhere, someone records you talking. Everything's on video now, everything records things now, and you have to be very careful about the things that you show and say to the public, especially if you're in the middle of a trial, because that will come out. Try to not have that conversation with people other than like lawyers and maybe your a therapist, yes, because they cannot divulge that information unless someone is in danger. But yeah, I'd be very careful with that too. So I don't know if we said good morning to Mandy. Hi.
I did.
Oh,
you ignored Mandy. I said good morning.
Well, I'm glad you were there for her.
All right, so what do we got going on this month? And we got to go.
Well, if you buy a basic handgun or a CCW for either yourself or someone else, you get a free women's awareness and safety class, and you can either use that for yourself or someone else. And the awareness class is not a gun class, but it is a learning to use your brain to be aware of your surroundings, conflict avoidance, boundary setting, distance managing, and some escapes to get out of someone trying to grab your wrists or choke you or try to bear hug you and pull you away somewhere. So we go over a couple techniques to get out of bad situations like that, because your gun shouldn't be your only tool. Absolutely use your brain. And
man, if you count on that gun as being your tool, like, hey, I bought this thing, I put it on my hip, or I put it in my pocket, or I threw it in my purse, and now I'm safe.
That's a terrible mindset.
That is a terrible mindset.
It's
terrible
like,
idea.
if you wouldn't, this is something I heard, I don't remember where I heard it from, but if you wouldn't go there without a gun, don't go there with a gun.
Yeah.
That shouldn't change anything. It's a mindset. It's not a, that's the epitome of I have a hammer in my hand and everything's a nail. You gotta research more and understand this world more. Use your brain.
Awesome. So yeah, buy a CCW class or a basic pistol class. So guys, if you buy yourself a basic pistol class and you take that class, but you want to give the free seats to your wife or your sister, or your girlfriend, or whatever for the women's awareness class, do it. You do have to contact us this month. We can't say, hey, 2 years ago I bought this class and now I want to take advantage of this. No, you bought your class this month. You contact us this month, and you'll get a code to take the women's awareness class for free. So,
and you don't have to choose a
advantage.
date for either class yet. If you want to give the class for a Christmas present or something, because that's right around the corner, then we'll put you into a space holder, so that way it will save your seat. Now, we don't prefer to do that. We prefer you to get in and take the class as soon as it's fresh in your memory, but obviously with Christmas right around the corner and giving it to somebody that could pose a scheduling thing. So
can you finish this? There's one of the guys is back, and he can't get in.
Well, I'm going to end it.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Okay, but I'm going to mess up
you're
the
gonna do it
address
right.
and all this.
No, do it
I don't
right.
know how you say it. I'll say my...
Do it right.
Anyway, that's about all we got to say about that. Okay, so enjoy your Monday and the rest of your week, and I don't know that we're going to be on again this week because we have a very, very busy week. But come see us out here in beautiful downtown Baldwin, 14803 Manchester Road in beautiful Baldwin, Missouri. Stay safe, be nice to one another. We'll catch you soon. I did it. He'll be so proud. Awkward pause.